Hi there, I'm Alessandra Latour, a leadership expert with over 15 years of experience leading teams and developing leadership programs for over 400 leaders. I've had the privilege of designing learning programs for companies ranging from 15 to 5,000 team members, and I've earned a Doctor of Education degree to make sure that all of the programs I develop maximize learning and action. Through the Latour Leadership Academy, I empower emerging and existing leaders to embrace their authentic leadership style, create team synergy, and foster a positive work culture through curated and personalized learning experiences. In this podcast, we'll talk about how leadership can be found in everyday activities and provide practical tips for those who are new to managing or leading a new team. If you're a leader or hoping to be one, by title or not, I'd love to connect, get to know you better, and find out how I can help. You can grab a free resource on my website, latourleadershipacademy.com, and sign up for my weekly email newsletter where we talk about leadership skills, network, and share action-based ways to enhance team collaboration and positive productivity. Today's mini-sode touches on inspiring confidence in crucial team meetings and in front of senior leaders. Let's get started.
I'm going to be leading a crucial team meeting, and I need to inspire confidence and rally my team around a new project. I'm nervous and unsure how to command attention and convey authority effectively. Any tips for how to approach this situation to ensure that I'm strong and impactful? Great question. I think this is really important when you're first leading a new team too, to establish your presence. Obviously, you can adapt and change over time, but you want to make a good first impression, right? So this one's around a new project, it says. So for a new project, something that I would do to prepare for the meeting is to write down the 5 W's and H for the project. So who, what, where, when, how, why. Why is usually the most important thing to convey in your team if you're doing something new or you're asking them to make a change. If people get invested in the why, then usually the rest of it comes pretty easy, right? You've got their buy-in. So write down how you would answer who, what, where, when, why, and how for the project. And then go and anticipate questions, right? So what would John ask about how we do this step in the process? What is Mary going to ask about the timeline, right? And start to anticipate those questions, start to put that information back in your 5 W's and H for the project. And that should help you have a stronger presentation of what this is going to entail and be able to anticipate their questions. The other thing that would be useful is to approach that project with SMART goals. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So we don't want to just say, hey, Kathy, this is a new project. Here you go. It needs to be done by Q3. We might want to say to her, okay, we want specifically this team to create this deliverable item. I want to be able to measure how long it takes them. I want to be able to measure how many people we're sending it to. It has to be relevant to the people we're sending it to, right? And I want a draft in a week and the final project is due March 10th. Okay, so I'm giving more specifics to that project to help kind of quell any fears or anticipated problems that might come up. You also might want to address, is there flexibility in that timeline as well, right? Are there things in this project that could send us changing other things? And how are we going to adapt to that, right? Who are they reporting to for problems? How are they finding resources, right? Start to think about all those questions that might come up. And the more that you can talk about those and anticipate those, the more confident you're going to seem to your team and the better buy-in you'll get. That's a great question. All right, and the last one that came up is I'm preparing for a presentation to senior leadership. Well, that's exciting. I realize I should exude confidence so I can influence their decision. How can I tailor my communication to project leadership presence? Yeah, that's a really good question. So I'm going to tie back to some of the things we've already talked about. Body language, right? So if you're going in to talk to senior leadership about something, you're likely the expert in that thing, right? So you want to come in knowing that they don't know as much about this topic as you do. They haven't been so innately participating in this topic as you have, right? So you are the expert in the moment. They might know a little bit about the topic. They might know a little bit about the project, but they're not as intimately tied to it as you are, right? So you are the expert walking in. So if you're going to walk in or you're going to do it virtually, you want to exude that good, confident body language like we talked about. We're going to rehearse, like we mentioned before. Tone is a big thing, right? So if you feel confident that this is the way they should go and this is the decision they should make, then you should speak confidently about that decision, right? If you have no idea and you want them to choose from 3 different options that are equally good, then that's your tone, right? You can choose A, B, or C. Here's the rationale behind each of them. What do you think? Or you could say, I recommend B because blah, blah, blah. So think about your tone as you're speaking. And then the last one I think is really important when we're talking to senior leaders is speaking their language. And their language usually revolves around data, right? What's my return on investment by doing this project? What's my return on investment from what I tasked you with and what you've come up with? How can you tell me about how this is working? Right. So from the learning and development field, which I'm intimately involved in, I might say there are 10 people that participated in this leadership training. And I noticed that we pull the data and we see that their sales revenue has gone up 10% since they took the training. And the people under them are seeing a 20% increase because they're getting the leadership they need now. Right. So I'm coming to them with some sort of data that's relevant to them, some sort of approach that says that I know the impact of whatever I'm talking about. Right. And let's say it's a proposal instead. Maybe it's not the result of the project. Maybe it's a proposal for a project. I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, here's the data that backs up why I want to do this project. Here's the data that backs up the way that I want to do this project, right? So I'm going to make sure that I'm fully researched. I have the rationale behind it. And again, anticipate their questions, right? If you know that the CFO is going to ask you how much this is going to cost, anticipate how much it's going to cost, right? So I think those are some really good tips. So that was body language, rehearsing, thinking about your tone, and then speaking the senior leader's language in terms of data.
Thanks for joining me for this mini-sode. If we're not already connected on LinkedIn, you could find me there, sharing practical tips and insights on all things leadership. And don't forget to grab the free resource on my website, latourleadershipacademy.com, and get more great tips directly in your inbox. Have a great rest of your day and see you back here soon.